So I got a comment on my last video from someone saying that I should make an Eddsworld Iceberg explained video, whereby I take one of these iceberg memes where the different layers of an iceberg represent the level of knowledge that one person acquires from being in a fandom for a certain amount of time. And initially, I didn't want to do it. Iceberg videos, they've been done, and it's hard to make a unique thumbnail out of, so I just forgot about it for a while. But then after a bit, I realised, actually, this might be a good idea. Not only are icebergs, I think, a really great illustration of the knowledge that you can acquire from being in a fandom long enough, it's also a really great way, I think, of introducing new people to the mythos surrounding a fandom, and it helps long-time fans to appreciate a property even more. I've been making Eddsworld videos for 5 years and I actually learned something from this meme, so I messaged the creator of the meme, they were okay with me turning it into a video. I don't want to talk for half an hour, so let's just get through this. So starting off with all the stuff that you probably already know about: Eddsworld Classic, Eddsworld Legacy, and Eddsworld Beyond. These are the 3 different stages of Eddsworld production. Like from 2004 to 2012 it was Ed in charge, and then from then until 2016 it was Tom in charge, now it's Matt in charge, but in all of these cases they had more people behind the scenes helping it to happen. The Eddsworld fan movie and The Beginning and The Friend, arguably the 2 most popular, most famous fan projects surrounding Eddsworld. One is a continuing webcomic that takes place in the future, and the other is a fan movie which has now been cancelled. I'll leave it up to you to work out which one is which. Tord is evil. Tord has the secret identity of Red Leader, and he comes back in the end as an evil villain. I made a video about it. It's one of my older ones, but it's still got all the information that you might want to know about. Bendee Stick. Stickman animation that Ed made before making Eddsworld / in sort of the early years of making Eddsworld. Did people understand what stick animations are anymore, or did we leave those in the 2000s? I hope they're a thing. Now we are getting on to the next layer down, which means that things are getting a little bit more obscure. Tord made Tom in Power Red. In Tord's base, in the end, you can see this blueprint of the monster that we see in Power Red. In that episode, Tom was the one who turned into the monster, but this is likely evidence that Tord played a role in this transformation. General McCoy in the end of part 2. McCoy was going to be the main villain of the fan movie, and one of the people who worked on the fan movie animated a scene in the end, and so they decided to hide his face in the background poster thing. Bang Boom Splat, Not So Special Stage, and The Quest for Bacon, the Eddsworld Flash games. I made a video about them. Paultryck is not canon, folks. I'll talk about this a little bit more later, but Tom basically made a joke about 2 secondary characters being in a relationship, and a lot of people didn't realise that it was a joke. Tom lives in a society. There was an image of Tom dressed like Walking Phoenix's Joker on Instagram or Twitter, and the internet made it into a meme. So now we're going below the water surface. We've got the Daftpina video. This guy called Daftpina made a video about Eddsworld Beyond where he interviewed Matt, and it became quite popular. The Michell and Webb animation. Ed animated an actual BBC cartoon Michell and Webb sketch. Remember, was a short that was made by Ed in sick form, link in the description. The reanimated episodes. Not too much to explain here, a bunch of the episodes have been reanimated by fans. Eddsworld USA. A 30-second meme video made by the guy who made all of these masterpieces. It is quite offensive and definitely not made for kids, but there's this little sweet message at the end. Ed, Ed and Eddy has nothing to do with Eddsworld. It just doesn't. Ed's Killathon. Ed had a Neopets account, or a Neopets clan, called Ed's Killathon, but then it was removed by the administrators because the name was too violent. Moving on to the next layer down, we have got the End musical. The last episode of Eddsworld Legacy was going to be this musical house hunting episode, but that was really difficult to do for a whole bunch of reasons, so we just got what we got. Tom's dad, is he a watermelon or is he a pineapple? Animation error in a couple episodes. I made 2 videos about this for some goddamn reason. Lost John/Pip versions of the fan movie. The movie, there were lots of different directors participating and giving their own visions. Some we know a lot more about than others. Eddsworld Fan Movie just has a really big, long, complicated history. Link in the description. It's outdated now, but it's still alright, I guess. Kalashnicola. Towards username on Newgrounds in 2006, he obviously does not use it anymore. Kreid's version of Salloonatics. So this is really cool. Apparently, Salloonatics had a bunch of different people to try and animate it. I think about 3 different people tried to animate it. One of them was the person who animated Powerhead. They actually have the animatic on YouTube. It's really pretty. Go watch it. Unfortunately, he couldn't finish, so it was given to Studio Cacti to do. Eddsworld Beyond Lore. This is just in reference to a Twitter thread of people speculating about what the lore is going to be with Eddsworld Beyond, comparing it to Eddsworld Legacy. The next layer down, Laurel was supposed to be Tor's replacement. So Laurel was a character in an episode called Movie Makers, and in the Eddsworld Legacy documentary there was some text at the bottom which basically said that she was a short-lived replacement for Tord. She was killed at the end of the episode, so obviously it did not last very long. Eddsworld DVD. Tom made a homemade DVD in 2009 with 3 of the episodes and a whole bunch of shorts, and for a while there was an Eddsworld Legacy perk where you could buy a 1-of-1 replica of the Eddsworld DVD for £2,000. It never happened because of copyright issues. Super Average, a cartoon that Tom and Ed were working on for a while, and it was going to have Red Leader, aka evil version of Tord, as the main baddie. A lot has changed now, it's complicated. I made a video down there. It's probably a little bit outdated, but whatever. Tom is a demon. Tom is or is probably possessed by a rage demon that turned him into a monster in Powerhead. I made a video about it, link below the like button. Tom wanted to make an Eddsworld Legacy movie. One of the stretch goals in the Eddsworld Legacy campaign was apparently to make an Eddsworld Legacy movie, but obviously that didn't happen. We did get a documentary though. We are now too deep to stop. Ed Gould is the I Like Trains kid. He voiced this Asdf movie character. Moving on. Matt allegedly wanted to make the beginning and the friend canon. I highly doubt it. Corpse Husband is allegedly voicing Tom in Eddsworld Beyond, a popular gaming YouTuber. Again, I highly doubt it. We don't know who's voicing Tom yet, I don't think. Ron Swanson is Son Ronson. The manager working at InstaRoof is a parody of a character from Parks and Recreation. We're now actually below the iceberg. We are like in the water and we are still going. Edimation was hacked. Ed had a secondary channel. It was apparently hacked in 2015. Not much information out there, but that happened, I guess. Kid Thulu, Ed's cancelled Flash game. I made a video about it. Link below the like button. I've made a lot of Eddsworld videos. I've been doing this for 5 years, help me. Toaster Brains 2. There was an Eddsworld book called Toaster Brains. It had a sequel with a very limited run. There have been talks about it coming back, but nothing's emerged so far. Shipping controversies. Shipping, a shortening of the word relationship, is the act of taking some characters and putting them in a relationship with each other. None of the Eddsworld characters are canonically in a relationship, but that doesn't stop some people from putting them together, and that makes another group of people rather upset. Tom Tord in And Then We Danced. One of the more popular pairings between Tom and Tord is actually in this 2019 Georgian film called And Then We Danced, like spray painted on the wall in graffiti. Here is the picture that Bing shared on Twitter. Ed's live streams. Ed used to live stream on a platform called Vocal that no longer exists. Some of them have been archived and a few of the clips, they can be found on YouTube, but most of it is just lost media. We are now at the very, very bottom of the image. Finally, Hello Cthulhu, the What the Future sequel. Possibly the last thing that Ed worked on. There was going to be a sequel to What the Future. I've heard and read things about what the plot was going to be. Maybe it was going to be in the same canon as What the Future, or maybe it was going to reuse some of the ideas. I don't know. There are explanations out there. It would have saved me a lot of time if it had come out though. Why did Tord put a fork in the electricity outlet? Christ knows. Don't play with electricity, kids. You will die. Ed's Lost Podcast. Ed, Matt and Tom had a podcast. It was lost. There's only one clip on YouTube that I know about. Unfortunately. I didn't actually know about this podcast until I started making this video, and I really wish that I did, because if you go on the Wayback Machine you can totally see where the podcast would have been, but you need Flash Player to actually listen to it, and Adobe killed Flash Player at the end of 2020. This is another reason why the killing of Flash was the biggest tragedy for internet preservation in years. Eddsworld Crash Zoom's shared universe. Tom has a show called Crash Zoom, and there's a lot of crossover between it and Eddsworld. I made like 4 videos talking about this already. And finally, the Eddsworld Michael and James crossover. So John Lopez is the lead animator for Eddsworld. He has his own web show called Michael and James, and in Fanservice Part 2, he pays tribute to it with an email that says Eddsworld Michael and James crossover. And that is everything, I think. If any of these sounded interesting to you, I've got a whole bunch of videos on my channel that I've linked to in the description where you can learn more. And if there's something that you'd like to learn more about which I haven't talked about already, leave a comment, might get round to making it a video. Thank you so much for making the past 5 years possible. I'm so happy that I can do stuff like this and have people find some value in it. I hope to see you next time. Take care.